Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Gift of Life Michigan's All of Us High School Education Program. Thank you for being here with us today. We encourage you to share and like this video. Feel free to leave questions and comments in the chat section. And if you are a student or teacher who has been impacted or has a personal connection to donation, we want to hear from you. You can email us at agillum@golm.org. Once again, it's agillum@golm.org. All of Us is an inspiring education presentation that we deliver to students. It covers what organs and tissues can be transplanted, the donation process, and why donation is important. Students also have the opportunity to speak to a recipient and learn about their real life experience. All of Us offers multiple digital learning modules in addition to doing virtual presentations that allows us to give teachers an option to choose what works best for students and their current learning environment. Today, I am joined by my two team members, Allison Gillum and Shalonda Griffin. And I just realized that I did not introduce myself. I am Tanisha Campbell, one of four community relations coordinators with Gift of Life Michigan Motel. Welcome, ladies.
Hello, Tanisha. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you all?
Doing well. Hey, Shalonda.
Hey, Allison. Hey, Tanisha. Glad to see you ladies today.
You too?
Yes. Thanks for that wonderful intro, Tanisha. Can I, before I introduce myself, I do have to say I need to get in on this question that's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. My high school mascot was an eagle. I'm a proud Grand Rapids Christian High School Eagle, graduated in 2000. So if that helps you guys figure out how old I am, there you go. All right. Hey, I'm Allison Gillum, and I am the West Michigan Community Relations Coordinator here at Gift of Life Michigan. I'm based in Grand Rapids and do kind of all of our public education, community outreach for the west side of the state. And I do have to say the best part of my job is youth education, working with students and youth to educate them about the importance of donation. So I'm super excited that we're doing this today. And I think we have some great guests who are here to talk about the good work that they're doing. So excited for everybody to meet our panelists.
Mm-hmm. That sounds wonderful. Thanks so much, Allison. My name is Shalonda Griffin, and I am also a community relations coordinator. I will follow suit and answer that mascot question. My mascot was also a bird. Birds get lots of love out there for some reason, but I am a proud Hamity Hawk. I graduated from Plant Hamity in the 90s. I will not tell you when, but just know it was in the 90s. So yeah, and I still love that school in the community, and I feel like it prepared me a lot for the life that I currently have. I work in the Saginaw and Flint area. And in the Flint area, we have a variety of amazing schools, just like Hamity. We also have an area called Grambling, and they are home to the illustrious Grambling High School. And I have an amazing educator by the name of Miss Lanice McNair Levi, who is a medical occupations instructor and a HOSA advisor at Grambling High School. So we could bring her up to the stage. I have a few questions for her. Hi, Miss Lanice.
Hi, how are you guys today?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for inviting me. And I would like to say I am originally from Saginaw, so we are the Lumberjacks at Arthur Hill. We're also called the Hillites, but my heart now belongs to Grambling, where we are the Bobcats.
I love it. I love it so much. Now, I had the wonderful opportunity of meeting you back in 2019, I believe it was. You invited me into your classroom. And here is a little fun fact that I learned about Lanice that I'm going to share with her. So my husband's first cousin on his mom's side is also Lanice's first cousin on her dad's side. I noticed one day that you and Shannon were talking as if you had, history. And I'm like, how do you know Shannon? Shannon's my cousin. So in my head, Lanice is my cousin as well. Even if you don't claim me, I'm claiming you.
No, we're there.
Just FYI.
So that was funny because I was the same thing. I messaged Shannon. I'm like, how do you know Shannon? And she's like, girl, that's my cousin. I'm like, okay, I guess that's my cousin too. That's how this goes.
All right, so this will be a family conversation. So you brought the All of Us program, the All of Us presentation to your students back in 2019. Why did you bring this presentation to your students?
Initially, I just wanted to do something different. My students were getting a little burned out of the traditional academics that we were sitting down and learning all the organs and learning about the, the anatomy and the physiology. And I was like, I need to make this a little bit more exciting and drive this home. And it was just ironic that at that same time, Michigan HOSA put out the HOSA Challenge. And I was like, okay, this might fit perfectly with what I'm trying to do, which is get these kids out in the community, get them out of the classroom, get them out of their bedroom, get them off of their phones, and get them out in the community learning, speaking to people about something that they're passionate about, something that I am passionate about. And it just worked out perfectly. The timing was amazing. I was actually surprised, and the kids loved it. Every single bit. They learned so much when you came into the classroom. They had so many questions. Remember all the emails? So many questions afterwards. I'm like, I can't answer that, but let me send a message real quick. But a lot of it just had to do with getting them in the community to talk about organ donation. That was a big thing for us.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm really glad to hear that your students liked the presentation. I know all of us as high schoolers have sat through presentations that maybe we weren't that interested in. That could be kind of boring, but the All of Us presentation is very lively, if I do say so myself, and it garners a lot of attention. So what exactly about the presentation stood out for your students? Why did they love it so much?
I think just the fact that they had so many questions and misconceptions. That was the big one. They had all these misconceptions about the organ donation process. And then when you came in and explained, like, no, we don't do this, or yes, we do this, that put them at ease. And that also then lets them ask the harder questions. And then once you started bringing up some of the pictures and our guest speaker that we had, it drove it home. It made it closer to them. Like, this is a real person. This isn't just Grey's Anatomy. This isn't just, the good doctor or anything. These are people in our community. These are members. And so then I sent them home and I said, ask your family members, ask some of your teachers if any of them know anybody that is a organ or tissue donor recipient. And the number of kids that came back, they're like, we had no idea. Why didn't we know about this? Why don't we talk about this? I'm like, I don't know. Why don't we talk about this?
That's great. You mentioned the guests that came along. We normally try to include someone who is a organ or tissue recipient so that they can share their real life experience, and then the kids get to ask them questions as well. And I think that's what takes our program to the next level, being able to have that real person testimonial. And I'm glad that they enjoyed that. Now, you yourself, well, let me backtrack. Would you recommend this program to your colleagues?
Oh, easily. Actually, I was talking to some of my science colleagues as well as my health education, because that is another course that I teach in addition to health science. Keeping it in the humanities area because the wanting to help people, I would easily recommend this program. And even I think we really should consider going down to the middle school program, just because I think the earlier we get them just talking about it, maybe not truly considering signing up, but just talking about this process. The more we talk about it, the more it's already in their head, the more they're thinking about it. So when they do get to the high school and they have that confidence to speak to their parents about being on the organ donor list, it's already there. They've been talking about it for 2, 3, 4 years at that point. Some of the science teachers are all about it. Hopefully we'll be able to set something up like that in a larger facility, because we do have such a large school, one of the biggest in the state. So to accommodate that many kids at one time, it would have to be, either in the auditorium or in a gym. And so to coordinate that, I've been speaking with some of the teachers, and we are excited. It's just, the logistics.
Yeah, that's completely understandable. Well, thank you for giving our program such a glowing recommendation. It's really appreciated. Now, this is also something that's really close to your heart because you are a recipient of tissue. Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
When I was in high school, was an athlete, not so much anymore. These knees don't do that. But I was an athlete in high school, and during one of my senior year soccer games, I dislocated my hip, partial dislocation. We didn't know at the time. And it took many, many years to be correctly diagnosed with some of the conditions that I suffered from. And I had surgery, everything went well. Had another surgery, things didn't go so well. And that second surgery left me with a very unstable hip. And I wasn't able to do anything. I was young, maybe 25. I couldn't walk upstairs without fear of my hip dislocating. I couldn't pick my daughter up. One time I was squatting down just to rub my cat and I felt my hip slip out. Another time I was pouring a glass of Kool-Aid in the kitchen and my hip completely dislocated. Had to call the ambulance, had to have it reduced in the ER. That happened, I think we had 3 ER trips after one of the surgeries. And the surgeon came up with this idea of, well, let's take some donor tissue and rebuild the entire structure of your hip, not the bones as much as the soft tissue that keep everything in place. And so I was presented at a conference. A lot of the top surgeons in the nation agreed that this was a great option. And I had my entire capsule of my hip rebuilt, so then I could lead a quality life. And that's where I'm at right now. You know, I still have aches and pains from, you know, getting older, but the quality of life is there where I don't believe it would have been before.
Okay, that's something great to remember, the quality of life. I know a lot of times we focus on donation, which I think can at times be overwhelming for people. They might think, you know, I don't know anyone who has had a heart transplant or anyone that needs a lung, but you said you received tissue to help improve your quality of life and you needed that because you were athletic. I mean, there are a lot of people out there who are athletic. So I think it's important to draw attention to the to what am I trying to say? To all the goodness that can be done by receiving tissue, how it can improve the quality of your life, because we can't have you walking around with your hip snapping out of place. That's not good. Yeah.
It's not good. And the number of athletes, I mean, like, just not just athletes, people in general. We'll have, my previous career is as an athletic trainer, so oftentimes we will use donor grafts for ACL reconstruction, MCL reconstruction. Those are a lot of things that people don't necessarily think of. Dental procedures, where we might use donor bone to reconstruct jaw tissue and jaw structures. And so that's something that I had done also. I had some bone loss in my jaw from a missing tooth from when I was a kid. And they're like, well, we're going to use donor tissue for this. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So I've benefited in a couple different ways that way.
That's awesome. That's so very awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Now, along with your role as a medical occupations instructor, you also head up HOSA at Grambling. And for those who don't know, HOSA stands for Health Occupational Students of America. Thank you. I wrote that very sloppily on my notes and I could not read my own handwriting. So these are for students who have goals to work in the health field in the future. Tell us about your role as an advisor there with that program.
Okay. So HOSA is an adjunct club to the medical occupations class that I teach. So the kids that are in the class don't have to be a part of the club, but these kids have a passion already to be a part of healthcare somehow, some way. Whether it's at the forefront or if it's in administration, they really want to be a part of healthcare. So a way that they can further their goals in healthcare is to become a part of HOSA, which is the Health Occupation Students of America. And I am the advisor. So basically, I'm just the adult. I'm the adult there. You know, I guide them along their way. I come up with some cool ideas, and they may have ideas, but they're not really sure how to go about it, you know, getting in the community. They don't have the connections. Well, okay, that's fine. You know, I've been around long enough. Let's talk to some people. I know who to talk to. So my role as an advisor is really just to advise. You know, in the beginning of the year, it's more me because trying to get the kids up and going. By the end of the year, the facilitation is really up to my senior, junior leadership. We don't necessarily have offices per se, but we do have a leadership command center, which are all juniors and seniors. And so HOSA, each year we try to take on something that they're passionate about. And with Grambling HOSA, it's been really easy because Michigan HOSA kind of put that out there for us as far as gifts of life. And our excitement with that, because we have had former HOSA members back in the day, I can't remember when, but she is also a heart recipient, 2 times actually. Wow. And so to have her come in and speak to our students, that got them fired up. that got them excited to get into the community, to speak to their classmates about what Gift of Life has to offer in terms of relationship to HOSA and their excitement to do well within the club too.
Awesome. Now, in 2019 and in 2020, Grambling High School, they won the HOSA challenge when it came to most activity points, because you all came to slay and not to play, and you did an amazing job at that. So tell me about the work you and your students did to reign victorious during those time frames.
So as everybody knows, 2019 compared to 2020 was a drastic change, especially to us. So in 2019, we had the ability to be in person. So we were at a lot of games. We were out at lunches. We went to the middle school to speak to the middle schoolers, as well as went into different classrooms to talk to the classrooms to promote Gift of Life. Now, what we did find, which is I'm sure you have also found, was the stigma really it prevented a lot of people from actually signing up to become donors, but they really wanted the information. Mm-hmm. It was really, I was amazed at how smart the kids were when it came to finding information, but sometimes that information wasn't right. And so the misinformation that was out there, that's where the HOSA leaders and the rest of the club came in to say, look, no, that's not true. That's not true. Don't believe TV. Don't believe TikTok. Here's some more information. And then we would send them to some of the articles that we wrote on our website. But being in person was by far the way to go. Mm-hmm. Now, 2020, the year of COVID, that was a little bit more stressful. Grambling Community Schools was virtual for the majority of that school year, which means that all of our stuff, when it comes to trying to do activity points, it was all virtual. I thought that was going to be more difficult for me as an adult, but these kids live in a virtual world. Mm-hmm. They really do. Between Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, I would say Facebook, but let's be real, we know that these kids are not on Facebook, that's what they're adults. They really reigned supreme, I would say, because they accepted and understood that assignment. And they did so well. The creativity came out with the posters and the posts, trying to do little snippet of talks that they could do. They did so well, and I'm so proud of them. So now we're just basically, our goal is to take 2019 plus 2020, and then let's go ahead and do this 2021 the same way.
Awesome. Now, for schools that have a HOSA chapter, would you recommend that they participate in the challenge?
Oh, 100%. I mean, it really, surprisingly so, it brought about a lot of the kids that didn't know each other first. They were put into small groups, and by putting them into small groups, you made a group of friends. You had a common goal, and that made our HOSA chapter much stronger. Our HOSA chapter was much more tight in 19 and 20 than I'd seen them in several years. Wow. Even in 2020, when we didn't really see each other. I think this is a great way to kick off our HOSA year, since the challenge this year is in November, a little bit later than I thought it was, but it's a great way to go into wintertime, a great way to go into our regionals, which are coming up in December. I really think that any chapter that wants to solidify a family, I guess I'll say we call ourselves the Grambling Family, I think that this challenge is a way to do it.
Lanice, I just want to thank you for everything that you do to help shape these young minds, the way you encourage them, the way that you are bringing them new and factual information and helping them to think about maybe subjects that they've never thought about before. You're doing an amazing job as an instructor, and you're just killing it as a human being. So thank you for everything that you do. So for those of you out there who are like, I've never heard of the HOSA challenge, maybe I've never even heard of HOSA, and you'd like to know more about that, I am now going to turn it over to my colleague, Allison Gillum, and she has two HOSA officers here to discuss the HOSA challenge with us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shalonda, and thank you, Lanice. And I need to just echo everything that you said about Lanice and the amazing students at Grambling HOSA. I have to tell you guys, all those activity point submissions come to me, and I was literally like, every time I turned around, there was a new HOSA activity submission from Grambling High School and a lot of others. But you guys do amazing. And I think what I just heard Lenice say is that Grambling's coming for you guys this year, 2021. I think they're not playing around again. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. So at this point, if we can bring on Shakti and Anya, two of our amazing Michigan HOSA state officers that we're working with this year. Welcome, ladies. Good to see you.
Hi,
Thank you for being here. Hey.
Thank you so much for inviting us.
Oh, I love it. This is like the best when we get to work with you guys. And we're so grateful for your support at Michigan HOSA. So why don't we just start out? I'd love to have the two of you, tell me a little bit more about your roles as state officers, and then maybe just tell us a little bit more about the opportunities that Michigan HOSA has for students who are interested in healthcare.
Sure, I can go ahead and introduce myself. Please pardon my voice, it's a little scratchy today. But hi, my name is Anya Shah. I am your Michigan HOSA Director of Membership for this school year. And my role is to recruit members through assisting and inspiring schools across Michigan to start HOSA chapters and raise awareness of the long-term benefits and skills you can obtain through HOSA. So that's my role. If Shakti would like to introduce her role, that'd be great.
So, hi everyone. My name is Shakti. I am your Director of Communications for the 2021-2022 competition season. And it's essentially my role to keep what's going on with Michigan HOSA's state officer group and keep you guys in touch with what we are planning. One example is this live stream where we are planning to do a HOSA challenge once again, and we want to let you guys know what we're doing. So if I were to outline what HOSA does, is it prepares students to go out into the real world and become the best people that they can be, especially if they're planning on pursuing a career in health and medicine. So our organization holds competitions, and in these competitions, a student can choose one specific event and focus their knowledge onto that. Some examples of our events include physical therapy, pharmacy science, CPR and first aid. All of these can cater to practically any health career in our country and our world. Our goal is to make people more compassionate leaders and more responsible, and just to become a better healthcare worker in the future.
Yeah, you guys it's an amazing organization, and I'm always just so impressed at just your initiative and your leadership. And I always know I'm like, we are going to be in good hands with these future health professionals, because you guys you're just on another level. You're just like the go-getters, the overachievers, and I'm just really passionate about what you do. And I think it's just the skills and just like the opportunities you have to develop through Michigan HOSA. It's very apparent that it's a wonderful program. And like I said before, we're so happy to be able to partner with you guys in this effort. So tell me a little bit more. Why do you guys feel like it's important for HOSA to be involved with Gift of Life Michigan and causes like raising awareness about the importance of organ and tissue donation?
Yeah, so organ and tissue donation is extremely important to us. So there is a current shortage of donors, and that results in an average of 22 people in the United States dying each day while awaiting a transplant, and that's an alarming number. Just one donor can save many lives and give thousands of children and adults each year a renewed chance of living full and active lives like they deserve. And Gift of Life drives the mission of registering more people to be a donor, and this directly contributes to the amazing cause of organ and tissue donation. It's extremely important, and HOSA is so happy to be a part of Gift of Life this year.
Awesome. We are looking forward to it. Maybe I'll have you mute yourself, Anya, if you can. Thank you. I was just hearing a little bit of feedback there. So speaking of HOSA's role in this, if you want to talk about making an impact, since we started doing this challenge in 2019, this is a stat that is pretty amazing, hard to wrap your mind around. HOSA students have directly been responsible for registering just about 2,200 new donors. Just HOSA students have accomplished that in like the 3 challenges that we've had. It's amazing. And I think almost like 2,000 activities have been done in support of educating people about organ and tissue donation. So that's a huge contribution that Michigan HOSA students have made. And we couldn't do this without you. And I think what's so great is that anytime you have peer-to-peer education like that, you guys educating your fellow students and your family and friends about this, you know, it means so much more, right? So thanks for the work that you do with that. This year, HOSA Challenge coming up November 1st through November 19th. So it's a 3-week challenge, and we strongly encourage every HOSA chapter in the state of Michigan to get involved. Do you want to talk? You guys want to talk a little bit more? We had our meeting the other day. What can we look forward to this year?
We just wanted to say that we highly encourage everyone to take part. Just like Lenice, Mrs. McNair, what she said, so many people are impacted by organ donation. I personally have family members who had kidney transplants, and I cannot stress how important it is for all of us to come together and just unite to make an impact on our community. So what I think I can say for anybody who's anticipating the start of this challenge is just to be excited for all the activities that we've come up with and all of the opportunities that you guys will get to just change the world, essentially. I think one statistic is that one person who signs up in the organ registry, after they die, they can save up to 75 lives. And imagine the impact that we could make if we had almost every person in Michigan, in the Michigan HOSA organization, to sign up for the organ registry. I think we could save so many lives that way. And I think that they can expect quite a bit of fun and quite a bit of opportunity.
Yes, I think so too. And one thing that I want everybody to know about the HOSA Challenge, it is informed by the students. So the state officers, we get together and I take their feedback on what they want to see us do. What types of things do they find interesting? What will they find rewarding and meaningful and impactful? So this has been designed by HOSA students. And this year, thankfully, we're going to have an in-person element. As Lenice was saying, we had to do everything virtually last year, and that was like no sweat for the students that participated. They were excellent at doing virtual activities, but I think it will be great because this year is going to be able to we're going to combine both of those things. In-person elements, virtual elements. We're going to have, to wrap it up, we're going to do fun virtual trivia night where you can earn extra activity points. So if you are interested in learning more about the HOSA Challenge, visit the Michigan HOSA website. We're kind of in the process of updating our Gift of Life HOSA Challenge page. So right now it's under the events tab. You can go there and see that, and you can sign up there and stay tuned. There'll be lots more information coming out. It's November 1st through 19th. Any other thoughts you ladies have, or anything else you want to share about that before we kind of bring everybody back up on screen here?
I'm just really excited for this year, and I'm excited to see what Gift of Life and HOSA students will achieve this year, because we've gone so far, and I'm just so shocked and so excited for this year.
Yes, agreed. I'm really excited to see what everyone does. And, you know, typically we have anywhere from like 25 to 30 chapters participate. I would love to see at least 30 or more. Let's shoot for 50 this year. I mean, why not, right? That would be amazing. Like you ladies said, just think of the impact that will be made. You know, one person has the ability to save 8 lives through organ donation and impact 75 through tissue donation. So it's a huge impact that we are talking about. So why don't we go ahead and we'll bring our whole crew back up here, and we can kind of discuss final thoughts. Maybe if anybody has any questions for us, we'll be happy to address those. Or I can just turn it over to Tanisha to wrap us up.
So I don't think that we have any questions over there, but what I did realize is that everybody else shared their school mascot and what high school they went to, and I didn't. So I went to the Detroit High School for the Fine and Performing Arts, where I majored in instrumental music. I can't even get my words out. Orchestra. I played upright bass, which is a secret that I withhold from many people. And our mascot was an achiever. So it wasn't like anything visual. It wasn't a bird or a tiger or anything. It was an achiever, and our logo or whatever was a diploma and graduation cap. But we achieved what we came to do. So, with that being said, I want to thank Lanice so much for joining us today. You are an amazing educator, and just to see how you talk about HOSA made me want to join your HOSA team, but I believe I'm a little too old. And then to have Anya and Shakti come in and join us and talk about the HOSA challenge this year, I could just see the numbers, the competition, like being really fierce this year. So watch out, Allison. Your email is going to be crazy.
I know it is.
It is going to be amazing. And we look forward to you all joining us for the HOSA Challenge this year, November 1st through the 19th. And you can sign up by joining us at golm.org and clicking on the events tab. But this year we also had some great youth ambassadors called Key to Finesse, and they were able to raise over $75,000 to help us improve the All of Us education program. Through their donation, we are able to create a traveling trunk, which will allow students to touch and see the organs and tissues that they are now learning about. This trunk will include videos and additional learning materials. And I can see the excitement on all of the educators' faces right now. So you can sign up for this in our future. Sign up for this in the future by visiting us at golm.org. You're going to click on the resource tab and then click on the tab for educators. Once you fill out that form, one of us will get back to you. Once again, if you have been impacted by organ and tissue donation and you are a teacher or student and would like to share your story with us, feel free to email us at agillum.org or visit us at our golm.org page and leave us a note. And we would like to thank you all for joining us today. Make sure you like our social media page to learn more about ways that you could get involved with us at Gift of Life Michigan and All of Us. And that will end our broadcast today. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you all soon.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.